Hey, what's up everybody? It's me, Just Keeks, back with a brand new video. As you can see, I am at the camp right now. And today's video, I'm going to be diving back down into the Avatar comics. If you saw my last video, I did a video about the Avatar comics. And there was one thing I wanted to talk about that I really didn't get a chance to, because the video ended up being longer than I intended, basically. And so today we're going to be diving down into the video. And if you've seen the title of the video, then obviously you know what we're going to be getting into. So with all that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into this video. Okay, so while reading the comics, one of the things that really intrigued me was this sort of like relationship that seemed to be developing between Zuko and Suki. So, a little background. If you haven't seen the show or anything, I'm sure if you're watching this, you have seen the show, but we're just gonna go over a little background. Zuko and Suki unofficially kind of met the first time in the Warriors Kyoshi episode from the first season of Avatar: The Last Airbender, where he was trying to capture Aang and he almost burned down their village and everything. They didn't officially meet until the Boiling Rock episode in season 3. Well, they didn't have too many interactions in the show. A couple things here and there. You know, most of the interactions were in the Boiling Rock episode, and then a couple things like after that. But in the comics, which takes place after the show, and shows like all the setup and stuff for Legend of Korra and all that, and how Republic City came to be, and blah blah blah. The Kyoshi Warriors sort of become Zuko's royal guards. So, you know, their tasks were like protecting him and stuff like that and all this stuff, right? And Suki seems to spend a lot of time with Zuko in the comics, more than she does with Sokka. There's a couple, like in the very first comic, The Promise, there's a couple times where she's with Sokka and stuff. And they're still together, They don't break up or anything, right? And then she has more of a bigger role with Sokka in like the last comic that came out in Balance, right? But most of the time she's with Zuko because, you know, she's part of his royal guard and all that and everything. So the first incident is from The Promise, right? So Zuko is having nightmares and stuff. He's dealing with a lot of stuff with the whole harmony restoration movement thing going on, right? Setting that up, the Udao thing and all that. And he starts visiting Ozai late at night to sort of like get his advice on how to deal with the whole situation. So there's this one instance where Suki is checking up on Zuko, and she makes a statement where she says, "I'm really worried about you." And the way this panel is drawn has Suki basically just like almost like in like this on her knees with her hands up to Zuko and all that. And it's drawn very like, I don't know, when I saw the panel I was just like, why would they draw it like that? You know, it's just kind of like, seems off, okay? Like, I'm not saying there's anything like sexual about it, but there just seemed to be more like they was trying to emphasize on the whole thing, alright? But I digress, okay? Now Zuko and Mai, they break up in the comics, right? And we have other instances of Suki saying like weird things, and this could just be chucked up to like her being caring and stuff. One other instance is when Zuko is getting ready to attack Udao, attack the Earth Kingdom troops and all that. Suki suggests that, you know, we really need to talk to him because he seems lonely. And Sokka is kind of taken aback by this when she said, he's like, "What do you mean lonely?" He's acting like an evil tyrant because of everything going on. But, you know, it seems like Suki really cared for Zuko's well-being and like must have had some understanding of like how he felt. So the next incident is when Zuko comes back from finding his mom and everything, and there's a small instance where he meets back up with Ty Lee and Suki, and Suki's basically telling him, the Kyoshi Warriors, how they were doing all this stuff, right? And she goes to say, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back. And they emphasize, they have I'm and like bold, right? To emphasize that. But she changes her statement. She's going to say, I'm glad. And then she pauses and then she says, we're glad you're back, to make it less formal and more professional and everything. And that could be the reason for that. Now, some of the little things are a little small. There's one instance when they get back and they're getting off the boat, and Suki's leading them off the ship. Zuko's half sister, Ki, makes the comment to Zuko that Suki she goes, Suki is really pretty, don't you think so? And Zuko says, sure. It's a little small, but it's another thing. And really, there's just a lot of questions that Avatar has kind of left us with, especially from Legend of Korra. Now, Korra, we know Aang and Katara had kids, right? And they got grandkids, right? We know Toph had kids, Lin and Su Yin, right? We know Lin's father's name was Kanto, alright? We don't know anything about Su Yin's father. Some people speculate it was Sokka. I'm leaning more towards it was this character, Satoru, from the comics. Because him and Su Yin, they have a similar hairstyle almost, right? Sorry, I'm just walking around outside while I film this, and because I gotta film this on my phone. Sorry. And then other things, we know Zuko has a daughter. We don't know who the mother is. We don't know anything about if Sokka had kids. It's kind of theorized Varric might be his son, but I think if that was the case, the creators might have mentioned it, but maybe not, because they never mentioned who Azumi's mother is. That's Zuko's daughter. Alright, now pretty much everybody assumes it's Mai, right? May, I'm sorry, I would say Mai first, I don't know why. Okay, pretty much assumes it's May, right? Which is pretty good reason. They were together in the show. They do break up in the comics, and then later in the first comic, The Promise, they break up with that because she finds out that Zuko is visiting Ozai and all that, and she can't deal with that. And so later on in Smoke and Shadows, when they're looking for May's little brother Tom Tom and everything and all that stuff is going on, she has kind of like a boyfriend at the time. At first, it's kind of one-sided, and then it kind of becomes more. But you can still see that she still has feelings for Zuko and everything. And even Zuko still has some feelings for her. And also, he also asked Suki if at times, if he would escort him to May's house and all that. Obviously, there's something like kind of weird going on with Suki and Zuko in the comics, but they're still like kind of playing out the whole May and Zuko relationship. Is this going to go anywhere? I don't know. And going back to the whole core thing, we don't know who Azumi's mother is. Like I said, it's assumed to be May. We don't know if Sokka had any kids. Theorized maybe Varric is one of his kids. We don't know anything about what happened to Suki after. I've seen like some speculation that it said that she died young, but I don't know if that's something that the creator said or not. Um, so I'm not sure. I have to look more into that. But the show left a lot of questions, and the comics especially left a lot of questions. And it just like it seems to me like I kind of feel like they're setting something up, and I think it might be something we see play out. We know we got some movies coming out, one of which is going to be focused on Aang, and then they're going to have another movie focused on Zuko. And I think they're saving some of these questions that we have left over from the comics. They're going to be answered in these movies, right? So I think in the Zuko movie, possibly we're going to find out if they were setting up anything with him and Suki, or if him and May get back together, because at the end of Smoke and Balance, May's boyfriend breaks up with her and everything, so she's single now. She might be ready to mingle with Zuko again. I don't know. But yeah, and this is just what I would talk about. The comics are great; they're fun, but this thing going on with Zuko and Suki, it seems, the way they do it and the way they like emphasize like certain stuff and everything, it seems like they're just trying to set something up, you know. And it's just, and she has more, like, I would have to say, like, more emotional moments with Zuko than she does with Sokka in the comics. Like whenever she's with Zuko, it's always like a very like serious scene. A lot of times it takes place at night. Like, I'll be honest, a lot of times there's a couple scenes where like they're talking at night and they're standing like, you know, at the very top of the palace, but the very top room of the palace, like standing on the balcony looking out onto the Fire Nation, all that, whatever. While her scenes with like Sokka, it's always more like fun. Okay. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you think. Do you think they're setting something up? Do you think we're going to see this play out? Like, maybe in like these new movies that are coming out? Who do you think Azumi's mother is? Before I'm going to get on that, like I said, it's pretty much assumed that it's May. And a lot of people point out that Azumi and May and May's mother, if you look at their designs, they sort of have like the same chin. So, also, Azumi means fountain, and apparently there's a Avatar, The Lost Adventures comic or something, where May and Zuko visit a fountain on a date. But here's another thing. Zuko went on a date with Jin in Book 2 episode Tales of Ba Sing Se, and they visit a fountain. So some people think it could be Jin. So my question for you is, do you think anything's set up with Zuko and Suki? Do you think Azumi's mother could be Suki, May, or even Jin? Let me know what you think, guys. Hope you all enjoy this video, and I will see you in the next one. Love you guys.